Welcome to Accounting Insiders. I'm Gary Dehart, the publisher of Untitled Accountant, and today I have Debra Kilsheimer with me. Debra, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Glad
flip
to be
around
here. Okay.
So we're going to be talking about it's your business, you decide everything, which I love that because somebody's going to make a decision, right? And so, but before we dive in too far, what's your favorite cartoon character? It's a really tricky question. I've thrown her off already.
I don't watch cartoons.
Oh, you had to have watched a cartoon at some point in your life.
I think, well, growing up, I watched Yogi Bear and Boo Boo.
Oh, there we go.
And I actually have a little stuffed animal named Boo Boo that I still have. It's in my
See?
bedroom.
See?
So I think it's Yogi Bear and Boo Boo.
So which one? If you had to pick one or the
Boo
other,
Boo.
is it Boo Boo?
Yeah.
Hey, Boo Boo, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
Boo Boo.
All right. Well, you're the first one that's gone Hanna-Barbera. Everybody else except one person has been Looney Tunes.
Well, the
Probably
Jetsons are good
Jetsons.
too, and that's also
Oh,
Hanna-Barbera.
there you go. I like Jetsons.
You know.
So yes. So all right. So that's the hard question.
Okay,
So
shoot.
now it gets easier. From
Okay.
here. So you're a top 100 ProAdvisor, multi-year. How many years?
Every year you've had it.
Okay, so 8.
Okay, 8.
Yeah, this is our 9th year of the publication, and we started it the next year. So 8, and then I think we said back in 2015,
That
you
was
were the
top
top
10.
social media ProAdvisor.
Yep.
So how have those two things, how have you used them, and how have they impacted your practice?
Well, the
If you
biggest
have.
Well, the biggest thing for that is, it makes me very proud of what I've accomplished. Like, wow, my peers have recognized me. This profession has recognized me. I don't think clients really care,
Okay.
but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I'm pretty good at this job.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. And then, of course, it's always fun if you get around to a client who says, well, what do you know? And I said, well, I'm a top 100. What do you know?
Right. What do you know? Top 100 out of 100,000, 200,000
Yeah,
people.
it was exciting when I won top 10. I remember sitting in the front row in New Orleans, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I think, what are there, 250,000 ProAdvisors?
Something like that.
And I called my
That's what
son
we're
up and I
saying.
said, you'll never guess. I'm in the top 10 ProAdvisors. I'm better than 249,990 of them. But that actually is one of the highest honors I have ever gotten. So I'm very, very proud of that.
Well, that's
That
awesome.
top 10.
Well, there's still the ProAdvisor of the Year out
I'm
there.
going for that.
Got a target.
That's my once I get that, I can quit.
Set your goal.
Yep.
Great. All right. So tell us a little bit about your business, your client base, and kind of how you got into this field. Have you always done this?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
My firm is Behind the Scenes Financials Inc. I'm in partners with my husband. He does all the tax. I do everything else.
Okay.
And I could do tax, but I always say if I did tax, he'd do nothing. So he likes the tax and I like the accounting. I grew up in.
I was saying he would go and he does. Doesn't he do? Doesn't he like to shop?
He likes to do he likes to
find
garage. Yeah,
stuff?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the fearsome 4 that he does every day: the post office, the bank, the grocery store, and now the dumpster.
Oh gosh. The
So
dumpster.
he goes to the dumpster behind this shopping center because they have the best boxes. You won't believe what I find back there. So I come home every day and he has a new stash of crap
All right.
that he actually puts on eBay and sells it.
That's awesome. Hey,
That's what he does for fun.
That's funny.
And he goes on a cruise he's actually on a cruise right now. He goes on a 1-week cruise every month.
Oh really? Oh, good for him. Hey,
Yep.
work hard, right?
That's right. He has the best work-life balance of anybody I know.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right. So about your business and client base. Sorry, I distracted you on that.
Our client base is mainly, small guys. I mean, we don't do big, huge, it's just me, Hal, who doesn't do any accounting, and I have a part-timer that works with me. And so we don't do big companies.
Okay.
Big meaning, multi-areas. We do, I would say we'd like to do Larry the landscape guy.
Yeah.
They need us as much as, maybe even more
A bit
than
more.
the big guy. So I do a lot of restaurants. I do a lot of pool service companies. I just picked up a guy that has an airplane that he rents. That's kind of exciting.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, so I did tell him, I said, Glenn, you're going to have to take me up in the plane, and I'm going to do cloud accounting in the clouds.
I love that. I love that.
So he said, sure.
Take me with you, and we'll do
Yeah.
another episode of Accounting Insiders,
Yeah,
the True Cloud Podcast.
yeah, the truth. So he's very interesting and really decent guy, nice guy, and so I get clients like that.
Yeah.
So
Are they
that's
local or are you across the country?
across the country, but most of them are local. Most of the time when someone called, most of my business comes from the ProAdvisor website.
Okay.
So that's been my major source of advertising. I always ask for reviews. I don't know if they do it or not.
Right.
So, but I do have maybe 77 of them,
Okay.
and I always tell people, if you would help me, just give me a review. I don't know if you do or not, but it really helps my business. And people are willing to do you favors.
Yeah.
So they do. And then people will search for a ProAdvisor, usually, and the
25
ProAdvisor
miles
search
or
at
whatever.
25 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I find them for that. And they call me up and I, write back, thanks for calling. Here's my phone number. Please call me. We can connect. Many times it's just, a one-time question, and I'll answer it. And then I'll say, well, I don't like to, no one likes to give away their knowledge for free.
Right. Sure.
But I'm willing to, it's easy for us. And I don't want to, let me have you sign an engagement letter to answer on what an invoice is.
Right.
So I go, well, it's that. And I go, oh, that really helps. Great. Would you do me a favor? Could you do me a favor? I didn't charge you for this.
Right.
And which does two things. First off, they know that I charge for things, and that the next time they call, I will charge.
Right.
I said, if you could do me the favor of putting a review on my ProAdvisor website, that would really help me grow my business. So they go, oh yeah, I'll do that for you.
Yeah, and I think most people want to be helpful, right? Especially
Exactly.
If they've been helpful for me, right?
Yeah. And what's interesting is if they don't, my feeling is if they don't do it, they will never call me again.
Right.
Because they'll be embarrassed. Exactly. So, that's been the major source of where we get our clients from. That I get people to talk to see if they want to become a client.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really good. And of course, you put down, you can talk to them when they call up. But that ProAdvisor site to me is invaluable.
A lot of people say that. They really do get leads through there, and a pretty good number of them.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people say, oh, it doesn't work for me. And I'm thinking, works for me. My picture's there, close-up picture. It's not my logo. I always think, this is a people business. As much as we think it's all about numbers, it's a people business. We build relationships. Yes. I think it's scary to call up someone the first time, especially a professional, accountant. I'm admitting I can't do something.
Right.
So it's scary. They don't know what it's going to cost. They don't know. They feel stupid because they even have to call. So you make it more inviting to them. It's like finding a new boyfriend on the internet. You make it where they want to call.
Right.
So I have my picture there. It's a close up.
Put your glamour shot on.
Well, I don't have that. That's not that. Gary, you're talking to me. So, but it's they see my face.
Yes.
So when they pick up the phone, they can visualize who's at the other end.
Yep.
Their face to. So I call up and I'm always friendly, always nice. Hey, thanks for calling. Oh wow. Put them at ease.
Right.
So why did you pick up the phone today and give me a call? Oh, yeah. Oh, you just agree with them.
Right.
And they go, well, let's see if we can't, get together and I can help you out. I think I can. If not, well, I said, the worst thing that can happen is I've made a new friend.
Right.
And I don't have enough friends.
And if you can't help them, you certainly know somebody who
We
can.
know plenty of people in the ProAdvisor community or through scaling or the Woodard group that I can refer them to.
There's somebody who can do, I was talking to a lady yesterday or the day before, she's like, 100% of what she does is solve payroll problems. She's like, not really running your payroll. It's when your payroll's messed up.
Right.
I'm your gal.
Right.
Well, probably get a lot of business. Right.
Oh, yeah, because they do it all the time. They think they can run it themselves and they mess it up constantly.
Yep. So let's talk about it's your business. Clearly you make decisions. It's your business. You get to decide everything. So I know what it means to me, but what does that mean when you say that?
Well, I always found it interesting in the accounting community that this is the only profession I've discovered that the client is dictating how your business is run.
Okay.
And I thought, that's silly. If I opened a restaurant and I wanted to sell high-end steaks, that's what I would do. So if someone came in and wanted to eat sushi, I wouldn't go out and buy fish.
Right.
So I thought, why as accountants or bookkeepers are we letting the clients dictate how we run our business? So I thought, I'm not doing that. Like, I started because you asked about how long I've been doing it. Well, my mom and my dad was an accountant. My pop was an accountant. So I kind of grew up with it. My dad didn't play football with me. He showed me how to do tax returns.
Okay. Well, there's some good Saturday mornings.
Oh, yeah. So come on, let me show you how to do this tax return. Okay, Dad. So then I went in, got my CPA, and thought, this is the worst job in the world because nobody likes you. You're only popular on April 14th.
Bad news, right?
Yeah, you got hourly bill, 6-minute intervals to bill, and so I was the guy in my office, Tony. He got more accolades than I did, but he was the stupidest guy in the office.
Sorry, Tony.
I said to Ron, my boss, I go, why is Tony the star? He's the dumbest.
Yeah.
You know, well, he has more hourly,
More
his
billing.
client billing
Yeah.
per client is higher. Yes, it takes him 10 times as long.
Right.
I can do more. Yeah, but I can't bill as much on you because you don't take
Right.
as long. Why don't you charge a flat
So-
rate? I was 25 years old when I had this conversation. I'm now older.
And we're still trying to figure out how to charge flat rate.
It's amazing
Not you,
to me.
but,
Yeah,
but
right.
a lot of the markets.
So when I met my husband, you know, I said, I put an ad on the internet, and he answered.
Yeah.
And I said to him, well, what do you do? Well, I'm my own tax and accounting firm. Oh.
Yeah, like, oh gosh, I hate those people.
He's probably really dull. Anyway, I met him and he was not. And a month after I met him, they did away with my department at the law firm I was working at, and I'm out of a job.
Okay.
I'm like, what do I do? And he goes, well, you're a CPA. Why don't you work with me? I said, only if I can run an accounting firm how I'd like to run an accounting firm, which was no hourly billing, you know, be a proactive accountant, use all the technology available,
Right.
you know, all of those things. He goes, all right, I'm game with that because I like to do tax. And I said, all right, you do tax, I'll do everything else. And that was 20 years ago.
That's fantastic. And that works. Works well.
Works
right?
for us.
Yeah.
You know, and so the point about the topic of the podcast today is you need to decide what you're willing to do
Yes.
because you get to decide everything. I think this is the only business where the customer is not right.
Yeah.
I mean, they come in and say, I don't want to pay payroll taxes. Sorry, you're paying them.
Right. You don't have a choice.
You know, I don't want to pay sales tax. Sorry, you're paying them.
Right.
You know, well, I don't want to keep receipts. Well, that's fine, but if you're audited, it's on you.
Yeah. And here it is where I'm getting you to acknowledge that I've
Yes,
given
right.
you that information.
So the customer is not always right in our business.
Right.
So I thought I get to decide the tech stack, the price, how I do business, when I do business, who I do business with. So to me, that means that you must first decide your business model. I mean, so often, you know, clients come to us and they want to start a new business. So we go, what's your business model? And we sit down and say, okay, you want to sell high-end dresses. We got to find a place that people that have that kind of money will shop. We need to go to these manufacturers, stock these dresses, blah, blah, blah. You know, so you have a high-end dress shop. How many times have you done that with your own business?
Oh yeah. Nobody
does.
Hardly ever, right? Because
So-
I'm working on it. You know, I can't think about
Right.
business
That is
and-
the first thing you need to decide. And if you've not done that yet, just take a day and do it.
Right.
And that might mean you can have to trash all your clients. Not all clients are good clients.
Right.
And, you know, but you get to decide.
And there's a lot of power in that too, right? And we all went into business for a specific reason,
Right.
And it's because I love accounting or tax or media or
Right.
what have you, or fell into it. I really kind of fell into this business. My degree in college was real estate. Go figure. But I do like this business, and I love this profession. I love the accounting
Right.
profession. It's
Right.
a great place to be. From a media standpoint, it's fantastic because there's always the government's always telling us something, right?
Right.
So if we want to get into that type of information, we certainly can. But it's a nice, tight knit community, mostly recession proof, right? I mean, it's
Everybody
not
needs an
100%
accountant. They always need
recession-proof.
get their hair cut. They need a funeral home, and they need an accountant.
Yeah, I mean,
You
starting.
know, taxes
with-
didn't take a COVID break.
Right. IRS may have, but
But
taxes.
taxes didn't. They still want their tax.
They still want it.
You know, so you will always have business.
And so a lot of that comes. So a lot of the making your own decisions comes with. I think you're spot on with the first part. Is you got to know where you're going. Actually, so Gaynor, who's in the room with us here, she's our CMO, and she's constantly reminding us of, well, why are we doing that? Where are we going? What's
Right,
the
right,
end goal? You know,
right.
Stephen Covey. What's the end goal? So great. So we have that set. Now how do we get there? Let's get the roadmap
Right,
to get
right.
there. And I think a lot of people though have a hard time, like you said, you got to get rid of the clients. They have a hard time of getting rid of clients because, well, it's $1,000 a month. How am I going to replace that $1,000 a month? Because I still have payroll or still have mouths to feed or whatever.
Right.
Car payment. How do you get through that as a firm owner?
Well, it's tough because it's scary. You're
Yeah.
taking a jump off the cliff. Well, I will tell you that if you make these decisions, clients don't leave.
Unless you want them to.
Yes, and how you get them to leave is you raise the price so high you don't think they'll buy it. And then the ones that do, you go, oh,
Yeah, you're like, dang it, should be on another 50%.
oh. You know, I remember we did a price increase letter, and the house goes, we're going to lose all our clients. I'm not working for this anymore.
Right.
You know, so we lost one.
Wow. Out of
And he still talked-
How many clients do you have?
Well, I think we have over 500. I do
Great.
about 100 bookkeeping clients where I do monthly, quarterly.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just not doing it like for that price anymore. I mean, when people call up from the ProAdvisor, they always want to know what you charge. I said, well, I'll tell you this. I'm the highest one you're going to talk to.
Right.
I'm also the best.
Yeah.
You got to pick what's important.
Right.
You want cheap or you want good?
Can't have both.
Can't have both.
And that works, right?
Yep.
Works for you. That's great.
Well, because people value what they pay for, and people think that stuff that's more expensive that they spend more for is more valuable.
Right.
If you don't charge enough, they won't think you're any good. I mean, if you and I were the exact same education, the exact same, accountant level, we did the exact same tasks with the exact same product output. You charge $20 an hour, and I charge $300 an hour. Client's going to sit there, and his first thought will be, well, Debbie must be really good because she charges $300.
Right.
Your output is exactly the same. There is no difference.
Right.
So he might go with you because you're 20.
Mm-hmm.
First time you make a mistake, should have gone with Debbie.
Should have gone with Debbie.
Not that I don't make mistakes.
That's nothing. Right.
But he goes, well, she knows what she's doing, So I would say, you have to be, I wanted to be the most expensive person on the block. So a lot of times I get pushback even from my husband, and he'll say, well, what's the market? I don't care. I do not care.
I just set the market.
I set the market.
Right.
I don't care what other people charge. Why do I want to go to the lowest price leader?
Right. And do you, do you price by the hour or are you
No,
flat
I
fee?
do a flat
You're
rate.
Flat fees. Like, here's your business, this is what we do.
Yeah, I have a minimum I work for.
included.
I'll have a minimum. I mean, for me to even work with you, you have to pay me $650 a month.
Okay. And as a small business, to me, I'd much rather know, all right, I'm writing Debbie a check. This is just part
That's
of
what it
this
is.
is my cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And it's going to get done.
Right.
I don't have to deal with it.
Right.
And even if it might turn out less if I'm hourly billing, I just don't deal with that.
No, I tell you,
it cost me.
If somebody asks me what I charge per hour, you know what I tell them?
What?
$1 million.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And they'll go, $1 million? I go, yes, because then you would have to reimburse me for all the blood, sweat, and tears I've put in to get this good.
There you go. Actually, that's a really, really good point, right? It's not about
the time I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It's about all, they're looking at the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
But the iceberg is all the knowledge that it took me to get this good.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
actually a really,
So
really good
I'm
point.
thinking, you got to pay me for all that. So it's $1 million an hour. So, but we only work on flat rate. So with a value price that you and I will come up with that we both are excited about.
And back on, so this will be back on your firm. So obviously you do bookkeeping. Are you doing payroll? You
We do
everything,
payroll,
so
we do it all.
Full turnkey. Like if I don't ever want to look at accounting,
Right.
that's your problem, right?
Yes, I do everything. And
taxes on the back end.
taxes are, yes, if you want us, now we don't have to do your taxes.
Right.
If you have a tax preparer you want to work with, that's fine. But we found most people want to have it all under one roof. But I said, I'm not going to steal you. I'm not going to take anybody's business. There's enough for everyone.
Sure.
So, in fact, many times I get a call from prospects, and I know we got this one time, and he said, my accountant just charged me $100 an hour to have lunch. And I said, okay, and we only talked business for 10 minutes, and I got charged $200 for lunch because she was with me 2 hours. And I said, okay, let me first, do you like your accountant? I mean, for that aside,
Right.
Does she do a good job for you? Yeah, I think she does a great job for you. Okay, if you work with me, and you wanted to meet me for lunch, I would charge you $200 to meet for lunch. If we only talk for 10 minutes, you would pay $200. If we talk for 5 hours, you would pay $200. Her problem is she charged you by the hour.
Right.
So you're looking at that. So I wanted to call her and say, you are doing yourself a disservice. You almost lost a client because he's looking at the time spent, not the value he got from the time you spent together.
Yeah.
So it's important, so stop billing by the hour.
Right. And understand what the value is, right? Because you bring
Right.
a lot of value.
And value is subjective.
Right.
That's why, I always think about, there's a Mall of Millennia around here. It's a high-end mall. Louis Vuitton's in there and all these kind of Michael Kors and all these stores. What they put in the shoe store, Jimmy Choo, they put the $10,000 shoes in the window.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go, wow, that shoe's $10,000. You walk in the store and you pick up a pair and go, wow, this is only $2,000. Well, that's cheap.
Only two. I better get two.
I better two.
Yeah.
So everything is relative.
Right.
So I don't want to be the low price leader. Don't be the low price in town. It's a race to the bottom. Somebody will always do it for less.
Yep.
So I just think, I'm going to be the high price in town because people pay those prices. If you go to the Mall Millennium, people are walking around in it all day long.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong, and there's no embarrassment with saying, I get paid well for what I do because
I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
Now, and you become better all the time. I mean, I don't know anything. I don't profess to know everything. That's why I come to these conferences to learn more. Mm-hmm. And I go, wow, blew my mind. Didn't know that. But there's enough of us out there that, that you'll make the best part of this conference, in my opinion, is the friends you'll meet.
Right.
The colleagues, the people. I mean, that's the best part. Because, when I travel across the country now, I just, who lives there? Let me go call him up. Like my nephew is getting married in Pennsylvania, and Gita Faust lives in Yardley.
Right.
So I saw her, and she goes, "Come stay with me." I said, "Deal." I mean, who does that?
Right.
I have a condo in New Smyrna Beach, and I tell everyone, "Come on down, stay."
Come on.
That's why I bought it.
Beachfront. I saw the picture.
Beachfront. Yep, beachfront. So it's really fabulous to have friends all over the country. Right. That's the best part of this. Where we sit in the office by ourselves. We're thinking, it's lonely. Mm-hmm. But when you're in this community of accountants and you go to the conferences and you participate in stuff, and you don't have to be a big. Participate means just showing up.
Yes.
And you see that, gee, there's other people like me that get as excited about a bank rec as I do.
Right. Woo.
Woohoo!
I mean,
cha-ching!
Who doesn't get excited about a bank rec?
That's cha-ching! So.
So also, we've got about 2 minutes. So
okay.
What about the thing about a decision tree, if you will, is kind of what I wrote it down. So what does that look like for you, your firm, when you guys start looking at, or you already kind of have set your, this is it's not the type of company you'll work with, but I guess you do have a bit of a persona of the type of companies you work for. But like if we're here, half of what we're at Scaling New Heights, 2022, and the exhibit hall has 110 or whatever exhibitors out there. So what's that decision tree look for you in trying to decide, okay, do I bring in a new piece of technology,
right,
or do I not? And how do I vet it?
That's always a challenge because they're always coming up with new stuff. So I took a larger bird's eye view of it. My hub is QuickBooks Online. That's the platform I use. Yep. Now, we had Xero here and Accounting Suite here, all great products. But I feel you can't chase two rabbits and catch either one. Yep. So I focused on QuickBooks Online. That's what I like
to use. So that's the only GL you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's the one I know. Right. So then you start to move out. All right, I need firm apps and I need client-facing apps. So what is it I'm trying to accomplish? Mm-hmm. So, there's things like bill payment. Well, there were a lot of bill payment options on the floor. So you go around and you pick one, and you pick one.
Right.
I'm using that. There were 2 sales tax people here. If you wanted to have a sales tax automation, you pick one. Right. And then you use it. Now, the fear always is, well, what if I pick wrong? I better pick them all. Yep. What's great about apps is you're not signing a long-term contract.
That's true.
This didn't work. We're going to another one. There are payroll processors. Pick a payroll processor. When you call up and you want us as your accountant, we use ADP. So if you want to use your own payroll processor, fine. I just don't support it. Meaning, if there's a payroll problem, you're going to have to call them yourself. Yeah. But if you want to have it where we can help you. Now we certainly enter the transactions. Mm-hmm. But I'm not. If there's an issue, I'm not calling up to. Right. You're on your own. Yeah. So we use ADP, and I will tell you, the clients are not after they're after the result. Yes. They don't care how you get it. They want their people paid. They don't care the tool you do it.
I want them paid, and I don't want
a problem.
Anybody knocking on my door.
Yeah, I want to make sure the taxes are paid. Blah blah blah. So we looked at a lot of them, and I just happened to pick ADP, and the reason I picked them was because one of my colleagues who I really admired used them. Okay. And I thought, well, if she's using them.
That's a big part, right? Big part of coming to these conferences.
Right. What other ProAdvisors are using these? Yeah. So any of you vendors out there, hook up with ProAdvisors because you'll have more impact with your prospective audience with ProAdvisors than you will by just, making a sales call and do webinars with a ProAdvisor to show how it works, because we're using it. And if we didn't like it, we wouldn't use it.
Right.
So
The
anyway.
business depends on it, right?
Right. So, then there's client facing apps, like Lisio is one. That's the client facing app. Ease of use. You have to be frictionless, which is what they talk a lot about now, and I love that word, for clients working with you.
Yes.
Don't make it hard.
Right.
So make it easy. I can do hard. I don't want them to.
Right.
So, Lisio is the client facing product. On the back end for my office management, we use Mango. There's a lot of them out there. That's the one I use. Practice Ignition for, well, now it's called Ignition, for the proposals, the engagement letters. So that's what we use in-house. Now, if I picked wrong, oh well, we can cancel, or if something.
Yeah,
if
maybe
they,
you did a little bit of work onboarding, but
oh well,
learn from, like
now
I said earlier, I learned.
Like I know, I went to the Mango thing this morning, and they're coming up with something that Ignition now does. I'm thinking, well, I could just use one.
Right.
That's nice. Or sometimes they'll add something where you can drop something else. We were using ShareFile. Well, Mango it has that.
Yeah.
So
And say, right? Yeah.
Yep. I don't have to pay for ShareFile anymore. So I'm always looking to see.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like we use right now too many different things, especially for the size of our company. But Outlook with that, Out 365 stack, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we also use Zoho One, which is there's like 45 apps associated with it. Very fairly priced, I think, and a very powerful tool. But we use like 2 modules.
Yeah.
And there's so much more there, and I know I'm duplicating that spend with Office 365, but I just can't take the time to go.
And
okay, we're going to bite the bullet, and
right.
we're just going to embrace this.
Right.
This is what we live
right.
on. We want to, but we hadn't made it there yet.
In fact, I was thinking to myself, I said, what I need to do is take one day a week. And that's, because, I've been to the conference, I'm going to get phone calls out the wazoo.
Right, yep.
That's just part of this, that's how they make their money. So, great. So I'm going to say, all right, I schedule all my demo calls for Friday afternoon.
That's good.
So that way I'm not trying to fit it in. Friday afternoon is when I do my demo calls. So once those end, then I'll say, okay, Friday afternoons or Fridays are the day that I'm going to really, I'm going to do Office 365. I was into a couple classes for that. We'd like to move to that. But it's a big jump.
Yes.
Because it's confusing to me. So, all right, let me take Friday, or I don't care what you pick, but it's kind of like, let's do lunch. If you don't schedule it, it will not get done.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and that's definitely my challenge with the Zoho.
You just have to put it on the calendar.
Yeah, and do it.
Yeah, then do it.
And not ignore it. So.
Right. And, it's not fun.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't know this. I'm frustrated.
Scratching
Where do I, my password's not working. I don't quite understand what that means. So it gets frustrating. But then I think, I remember when I learned how to knit. I like to knit. Well, when I first started knitting, I was all, I didn't know how to knit. And I kept saying, just keep doing it.
Right.
You'll get better. So I liked it enough to keep getting better. And now I'm pretty good.
Right.
But I thought, oh boy, I remember back in the day. I couldn't even hold the needles right. But I worked through the uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
So
Get some training.
Some training. I took a couple classes, and I thought, all right, how's this any different? How many of you ride a 2-wheel bike? Remember that? You rode a tricycle, and then you put training wheels on.
Right.
And it's like this with a bike.
Yeah.
And then my dad took the bicycle wheels off, the training wheels off, and he pushed me down, and I was jiggling. Finally, I just was riding smooth.
Right.
But I thought, I learned to ride a 2-wheeler. My biggest thing is I always think I can learn something new. Is I remember when I was in the 1st grade, we toured the 2nd grade, and they had cursive writing on the board, and I looked at it and I thought, I will never learn cursive. I will never learn cursive. And I got to the 2nd grade and I could write cursive, and I thought, if I can learn cursive, I can learn anything. So every time I get frustrated or think I can't learn that, I'm never going to get that, I go, wait, I learned cursive.
Well, we're going to wrap on that.
Okay.
Because that might even be the headline. If I can learn cursive, I can learn anything.
Yeah.
I don't even think they teach it in school anymore. So.
Yeah, I'm showing my age.
Right. Yeah. So, but well, you see, I don't write in cursive anymore.
Yeah.
And the other day I was starting to do it just to try. I was really racking my brain to try to remember how to.
And your hand hurts.
Yeah, I was like,
wow, my hand aches.
So, all right. Well, that's it. Well, thank you, Deborah.
Oh, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Deborah's good. Debbie, is
It's
okay. There's something that you
Deborah-
don't want to be called, right?
Late for dinner.
Late for dinner. Okay,
Yeah.
well.
Deborah, Debbie. Yeah, they all work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for tuning in.